Good morning, beloveds. All right, I'm awake. I promise I'm awake. All right. It is Sunday. It is October 18th. From what my husband told me, it is a beautiful day. He chooses Sunday morning really early to go to the grocery store. Like, he just gets up and goes. And I sleep through it. I don't know why. But, yeah, and so he sent me a picture that he took of the sunrise when he was coming out of the grocery store. He was literally in the grocery store before the sun came up. Of course, I mean, the sun's coming up at, 7:30 right now? So, it's not that hard. We'll see about when the time changes. Come here, Rita. I got a cat, but she's on the other side of the room, so I'm seeing if I can get her to come over here. All right, let me start talking, and maybe she will. As if I haven't been doing that the whole time. All right, so it is October 18th, and our title is, I Accept the Fullness of Life. Today I see sweeping over the mistakes of yesterday and steadfastly behold the face of the great and divine reality. I know that every negative condition of the past is swept aside. Yesterday is no longer here. Tomorrow has not yet arrived. Today is God's day. Today is my day. Today, bright with hope and filled with promise, is mine. Today, my heart is without fear. I have implicit confidence in the good and the enduring and the true. Today, I keep my consciousness steadfast with the realization that there is spiritual power upon which I may rely. I turn resolutely to that divine source that knows no confusion, to that spiritual center that knows no fear. The Spirit is not afraid of anything. The divine has no enemies. The Spirit has no opposites. Consciously, I draw close to my divine center and feel the warmth of its presence. I enter into a faith made perfect through love and confidence. Acknowledging good in all my ways, drawing only good for others, I rest in calm assurance. I open my consciousness to the realization that all the power and presence there is clothes me in its eternal embrace, that the Spirit forever imparts its life to me. I believe in my destiny because I know that the law of good is operating through me. I have confidence in the future and enthusiastic expectation of good things to come. I expect the fullness of life this moment. Okay. First off, Rita. She is purring away in my lap. I changed my arrangement trying to get my camera up a little bit, and unfortunately she's not quite, so you can see her ears. She's not quite tall enough to make the camera screen anymore, so fortunately she likes to be picked up. Well, that's not true. She likes to be held. She hates to be picked up. So I'm not sure why that is. She is a 14-pound cat. The benefit of ginger cats is, as a general rule, ginger cats are pretty laid back. Calicos can be a little crazy, but the gingers are pretty laid back. And so she's very, very laid back. She went to all of my ministerial classes with me, and I say, she's a better minister than I am. And I think that she fits in today's reading really nicely, so I'm glad she showed up. And let's see if I can demonstrate why. Okay. So let's start with the concept that principle is not bound by precedent. Because that's what today's reading is about. Today I see sweeping over the mistakes of yesterday and steadfastly behold the face of the great and divine reality. So basically, anything that has happened in the past, I am to let go of. And not just let go of it. Please forgive yourself for your past mistakes. As Maya Angelou says, you did the best you did the best you could with what you knew, and when you knew better, you did better. So you have learned from your past mistakes, and now move on into the future, or move on into the present, and steadfastly behold the face of the great and divine reality. So let go of the past mistakes and face the reality of the divine presence. Face that guidance. Face that intelligence, and accept that flowing into your life. Because as you learn from what you have done in the past, whether mistakes or, you're gonna do better. I keep seeing the phrase, starting again, instead of starting over, because you're not truly starting over from zero. You're starting from what you've already learned. So you're not going back to zero. You're not starting over again. You're starting again. So drop the over. And you know that you have a divine source of guidance. Let it in. I know that every negative condition of the past is swept aside. Principle is not bound by precedent. So just because it has been doesn't mean it has to continue to be. You have the power within you to, if not completely change it, at least begin the change. Because they say, where does peace start? Right here. If you want world peace, then you start within. Okay. Yesterday is no longer here. Tomorrow has not yet arrived. I mean, how many memes have we seen that say that? Today is God's day. Now, is there any irony that we're reading this on Sunday? That we are truly reading this on God's day? The day that most world religions set aside to communicate. Today is God's day. Well, every day is God's day. And really honestly, that's it. I always say I love this about Science of Mind. And one of the things that I love about Science of Mind is that, and we'll get to it in just a minute, but Jesse's done a series, several series on the sacred and the profane, by Mircea Eliade. If you want me to put that name in the comments, please let me know. But the truth is that everything's sacred. Everything is sacred. There is nothing that is profane, because everything is made from God's stuff. So every day is God's day. We just make extra effort on Sunday because the rest of the world does too. But our prescription is to remember that every day is God's day. Every day. Today is my day. So today is God's day. Today is my day. Why not? Why not expect to have a great day every day? I mean, I don't hate Mondays. I don't know why everybody hates Monday. Actually, I do know why everybody hates Monday. I saw a description on why people... No. Okay, so Garfield, the cartoon cat, ironically, the cartoon orange tabby, who's still in my lap, by the way, hates Mondays. Well, if you think about it, his owner, John, is home on the weekends, and Monday's the day that his owner goes back to work. So that's the reason why people... But if you have a job that makes you hate Mondays, then is that really the best job for you? I like Mondays for two reasons. I go to the gym on Mondays, and I like my job. I enjoy what I do to pay my mortgage most of the time. I mean, I have my days. Everybody has their days. So every day is God's day. There isn't a day that I don't... There's not a day I dislike. And if you have a day you dislike, maybe you need to look at why you dislike it and change that. Okay. So today is God's day. Today is my day. Today, bright with hope and filled with promise, is mine. So ideally, every day that you get up should be a day bright with hope and filled with promise. And if it isn't, Ask yourself why not. And then once you've asked the question of why not, ask yourself what you can do differently to make it that way. What changes do you have control over that can make them better, to make your days bright and happy? One of my joys is to get up and chase the sunrise. Today I didn't, but he got it for me. Today, my heart is without fear. Okay, why is my heart without fear? Because I know who I am. I know that I am a child of spirit, and I know that that spirit will provide for me. And it will provide for me what I'm willing to accept through me. So today, my heart is without fear. I have implicit confidence in the good, the enduring, and the true. I know who I am. I also know who you are. I'm waiting for you to recognize who you are. So I will know it for you until you are ready to know it for yourself. And that's one of the beauties of science of mind. Today, I keep my consciousness steadfast with the realization that there is a spiritual power upon which I may rely. That's what I'm talking about. There is a power upon which I may rely. I love he uses may. He doesn't say can. He says may. It is our choice to rely on that spiritual power. I turn resolutely to that divine source that knows no confusion, to the spiritual center that knows no fear. So when I wake up in fear and in confusion, then I go to the place that isn't. I go to that spiritual center within me of where there is no fear and there is no confusion. That place that nothing has ever been wrong. The place that every single one of us carry within us. And we can make more of an effort to come from that place instead of allowing to come from outside. The material, the messy, the confusing, the noisy. I'm not saying it's not beautiful. I'm just saying that it's loud and it's noisy and it's messy and sometimes it's confusing. But when we come from the other place, life just works better. Okay. Oh, where did I? The spirit is not afraid of anything. The divine has no enemies. The spirit knows no opposites. Okay, now, the spirit is not afraid of anything because there is nothing outside of spirit for spirit to be afraid of. The divine has no enemies because, again, there is nothing outside of the divine that can be an enemy. All there is spirit. The spirit knows no opposites because the only way to have an opposite is to have something outside of yourself. And there's nothing outside of spirit. Enemies, opposites, and fear are illusions. And the reality is the divine, the one. So spirit is not afraid of anything. Spirit has no enemies. Spirit has no opposites because there is nothing outside of spirit. And we, being time-bound mortal expressions, see those illusions, and we take on that fear. And then when we recognize who we are and we recognize the divine and we recognize the oneness, I'm not going to tell you that it makes the fear go away completely. I am going to tell you that it can lessen the fear. Because then instead of responding to enemies, we respond to people in pain. And when we recognize that our enemies are people in pain, then we see that there is a solution. And sometimes the only solution we have is to pray. And that's a powerful solution, and that is within our power. And we know them for who they are. We know them as spiritual beings, and we recognize the pain that they're in, and we pray for the ceasing of that pain. And we pray that they recognize who they are. All right. Consciously, I draw close to my divine center and feel the warmth of its presence. Well, right there. He just said, this is what you do. You draw close to your divine center, the center of you that has never been afraid, that has never been hurt, that has never been wrong. You go there. You go to that center of love. And you come from that center of love. And when you come from love, all things just work that much better. I enter into a faith made perfect through love and confidence. I knew that was coming. I enter into a faith made perfect through love and confidence. The confidence is because I know I know who I am and I know where I'm coming from. I know that I am coming, and where I'm coming from is love. Acknowledging good in all my ways, desiring only good for others, because there's that part that I love. The good that I want for myself is the good that I want for absolutely everybody, because people who are in fear are frequently people who are in pain. Well, I don't want anybody to be in pain, because if nobody's in pain, then we can get on with the business of life. So I want everybody to be free of pain. All pain. Physical pain, emotional pain, mental pain, existential pain. I want everybody to know that they're a child of God. That they are beloved in the sight of Spirit. I rest in calm. So, desiring good for others, I rest in calm assurance. I open my consciousness to the realization that all the power and presence there is clothes me in its eternal embrace. Okay. I open my consciousness to the realization that all of the power and presence there is clothes me in its eternal embrace. That sounds like I'm being hugged. I'm being hugged hard and forever by the power and presence. Think of that eternal embrace as a hug. It's a divine hug. And it's a divine hug that never really lets go. I mean, we all need a hug sometimes. And the truth is, we're being hugged all of the time. That the Spirit forever imparts its life to me. The life that I am living is the life of Spirit. Whatever else it looks like on the surface, the life that I truly live is the life of Spirit. And so what I do with that Spirit is my gift to Spirit. I believe in my destiny because I know that the law of good is operating through me. We don't talk too much about destiny. It sounds a little too much like divine planning. And that's one of the things that Ernest is, he'll talk about it, and that's one of the reasons why we've changed the word from divine plan to divine pattern, because we believe in the element of choice, that we have a choice in what we do. And so I believe in my destiny. But what is my destiny? My destiny is Spirit. My destiny is love. My destiny is good. My destiny is kindness. My destiny is compassion. Because that's the pattern that I live in. And if I stay in that pattern, wonderful things will happen. And not just for me. For all of those lives that I touch when I am acting in that love. I have confidence in the future and enthusiastic expectation for good things to come. I accept the fullness of life in this moment. All right. Well, today is God's day. And so our mission, should we choose to accept it, is to steadfastly behold the face of the great and divine reality. To accept the fullness of life that is ours by birthright. So, and she has stopped praying. She's sitting here right here in the sun. But she stopped praying because I think she's listening to Tom in the other room. So that's your mission today, to accept the fullness of life, to let go of and forgive yourself for anything from yesterday, and to not worry about tomorrow, because the only place you live is now. And what choices can you make in the now but to live in the warmth of that divine hug, the divine hug that never lets go, that spirit that is always in you, around you, through you, because that spirit is you. And to know that there's nothing outside of spirit. So, yep. All right, beloveds, I am going to move into the process of my day, and I am going to remind you to do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself. We're closing in on the low 70s right now, so right now at 9:20 in the morning would be a good time to open your windows, get some fresh air, do something to engage your mind and your body, and know that you are a beloved child of spirit in whom spirit is well pleased. And then please feel free to join us at 11 a.m. right here on Facebook Live to see what Reverend Jesse has to say. He's been on fire with Neville Goddard this month, and it's been good. So, and then Reverend David will be on with you around 5 p.m. So please open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you that you live in heaven now. That you are that beloved child of spirit in whom God is well pleased, always and forever, because there is no yesterday and no tomorrow. There is only now. And God loves you, and so do I. All right, beloveds, have a wonderful day.